Removing the motherboard out of an ATS22 and also the SDI12 extension board. You will need a small socket set with a 5.5mm socket. You will need a fairly small Phillips screwdriver for the two screws here, and because generally this would be in situ, you're going to have to be really careful when you remove the bolts, which are here. And then once you move this extension board, they're kind of little posts, so then you remove them as well. You've got to make sure you don't lose these in the field. It's obviously a little bit easy for me because I'm in the workshop. This is obviously a demo unit, so there's nothing really attached, but generally there would be all your ancillaries attached under the bottom here, and then you'll probably have some through the sides here. And because obviously if I just point out where the aerials come in, the gland comes through the box like a few mil. To be able to get the board out, you would need to unscrew these so they're like these caps, so everything is flush, because the board is very tight and you will need it as flush as possible all the way, well, not so much the edges because they're in a recess, but you will need the bottom section here as flat as possible to be able to pull the board out. The other thing to note and to be careful with is when you pull off the LTE and the GPS lead to the aerial over here, these are actually really tight. One, you don't want to damage the lead, and two, you don't want to damage the board. I've actually disconnected these, but if you use a flat bladed screwdriver, something like this one, and just prise underneath the square block, and you'll hear it click off, and they've got like a little collar on the bottom. So it's the same with this one. You'll find that the main antenna is got a slightly thicker collar, so it does take a little bit of prising off. Just be very careful when you do that. These can obviously go out of the way because they're not needed. For this particular exercise, I'll just jam them out the way over there, like so. You then pull obviously the battery lead, and the solar panel off. Just be careful when you pull them off because there isn't normally a lot of play, but they've obviously got to be out the way there. So once it's all undone, all the ancillaries are out the way, you'll obviously look something like this. Then with your 5.5mm socket, undo the little nuts. This is obviously tricky in the field because the unit will be sort of more upright. Normally I undo them until they're completely off, and then they're inside the socket. So as you can see, they're quite small. The other one is off there. This is the extension, SDI12 extension board is basically on like a socket. So if you just wiggle it, just take that nut off of there. So it's an extension board which plugs into this socket, and you'll see on the back, that's the actual socket. But obviously you will need to bolt this back down in because it's not enough just to be like that. The posts are the same mil, and hopefully your socket is long enough. It should be. These don't need to be mega tight. Same again, undo until it actually comes undone, like so. And note that the longer thread is what's coming to the front. The shorter thread is what goes to the back of the board. like so. Then with your small Phillips, undo the 2 screws, and then carefully you should be able to pull out, because you'll see now it's almost the same size as the box, hence why you have to drop all these glands down if you've got cables coming through. I mean, some of them you will probably need to actually take the cable out. It might just be easier. And then just lift the board out, don't lose the screws. Again, they're tiny, and if you're in the field will be a bit of a pain. And then that's your board out. And point to note, because obviously this doesn't happen very often, if you need to change the modem on the ATS22 board, it's actually on the back. So you do need to do this if you need to change the modem. You require a specialist tool to undo this casing, and then obviously the modem is behind, and sometimes you put a spacer inside to put the modem in, which is sometimes a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see there as well, there's a small dot in the corner. You must make sure that that dot is in that corner for the modem, for the spacer, and for this outer cover, and then everything just clicks back into place. But this is obviously the only way you can get the modem out of here.